This episode is sponsored by New Gen Marketing Company.
If you have a business and you're trying to boost your sales, increase your conversion rate, or just drive traffic to a website, if you have a product that you're trying to promote, we specialize in TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads.
We help you handle everything from A to Z. We specialize in getting you clients through proven marketing systems. Whether you're just getting started or already in business, we work within your budget to help you bridge the gap between where you're at and where you want to be. We offer services like website creation, Facebook ads, short form content, video editing, and full digital marketing management. And the best part, our guarantee. If you don't make back what you invest with us, we'll work for free until you do.
You don't even know that you were missing this key component. I'll leave the link down below. Keep watching this video. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching.
We'll go ahead and get started. I have a quick little intro here. Today, I'm honored to sit down with someone who played one of the most important roles in my family's life, the midwife who delivered our newborn, Ashtyn Silva, founder of Lifestyles Midwifery. Ashtyn is a certified professional midwife and licensed traditional midwife, serving central, southern, and southwestern Minnesota. She's passionate about safe, natural, and personalized birth experiences, offering prenatal care, home births, postpartum support, and newborn care, all in the comfort of her clients' homes. With her calm presence, deep knowledge, and dedication to empowering families, she's been making a huge difference for mothers who want a birth experience that truly respects their choices. Ashtyn, I'm so excited for people to get to know you, learn more about you and what you do. So we can go ahead and start from the beginning. What inspired you to become a midwife?
First of all, thank you for saying all those nice things. I was first inspired to become a midwife after my own first experience with my own first pregnancy and birth. I at first had never known anybody who had not had a baby in a hospital. Home birth was never ever on my radar at all. But I got pregnant and was really very mindful about what my own experience was going to be like. And I did some reading. There is a traditional midwife. Her name is Ina May Gaskin. She has written several books, and her name is like a big one in the traditional midwifery community. So that was one of the first books that I read about midwifery. And I was like, midwives, like, what is that? But she does a great job of explaining, I guess, kind of the approach to maternity care, and how midwifery care contrasts conventional mainstream medical care. And everything that I was reading about midwives, I was like, that's what I want. And this more medicalization of a normal, healthy life process, that's not what I want. And so I was living on the outskirts of the Twin Cities at the time. And so I had more options than, what exists around here, which is where I'm from. And, obviously all of my family and whatnot. So I searched out, well, the very first thing I found, I was pregnant. I went to get an ultrasound, which is like,
What do you do?
yeah, it's what most people think you need to do. But you don't really necessarily have to. But I did that, and I talked with the doctor for all of like 20 seconds, and I was like, oh, okay. I had a couple of visits with hospital-based midwives, and I asked some questions and was unsatisfied. And I kept looking and looking, and I came upon, then I learned about certified nurse midwives and certified professional midwives. So I started searching certified professional midwives in my area, and that's how I came to the midwives that I ended up with. Ritz Community Birth Center in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
They're great. But basically, and I'm getting a little long-winded.
No, you're dead. Yes.
But basically, that just felt right from the beginning of my care with them.
Would you say it was like instinctual? Kind not being satisfied with their answers, and then
Yeah.
kind of were exposed to this, and then
Yes.
this just felt right.
Yep. I'm cautious when it comes to institutions.
Mm-hmm.
And big medical institutions for me is like, I'm just kind of cautious.
Yes.
And like I said, having a very normal pregnancy and wanting a very normal birth. I didn't want something institutionalized. And birth is very, very vulnerable. It's very intimate and it's very vulnerable. And I didn't want to put myself in a situation where I would be so vulnerable, physically and emotionally. But yeah, after my daughter was born, so when I was like in the process, getting my care and planning my birth, my support system was like, "What are you doing? You're not gonna have you're gonna have this baby outside of the hospital." But I knew that it was right. I had done my research and like I knew what I was doing. This is legitimate. It's regulated.
Right.
It's safe. So I did it, and it was great. My daughter was born. Everything very clinically unremarkable, right? As we were saying in clinical terms.
Okay.
And I, as a woman who just like had a baby, I was like, wow, I can do anything. I felt so strong. Like this is awesome. I felt so affirmed in my decision. Just like so excited about, I don't know, the human body and like how, when we're healthy, we don't have other, health morbidities or whatever. If we just nurture this process and trust the process and have the appropriate like support system, these traditional midwives to like make sure everything's still safe.
Right.
I was just like, this is great. Everyone should know about this. Everyone should have this option. And so getting back to the actual answer to your question,
No, you're good.
that's what I wanted. I was like, more people should have this opportunity. And still people like in this corner of the state, which is very dear to my heart, there's still not very, very little options for people to have that. But I really think that everyone should have it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's that makes perfect sense. You had the experience. Most people, I feel like, even with us and our experience, since you're unaware or uninformed, your mind puts things in places that you don't have all the answers to. So, like having a birth at home, it's like, oh my gosh, like it can be scary, and there's some, I guess, even though for since the beginning of time, people have had babies within their small little bubble. So if anything, it's like going back to natural way of being.
Yes. I would say when increasing interventions increases risk.
Right.
And so with a normal life process, I like to approach it as a life process. It's actually safer.
Right. No, and from our experience thus far, it's the same experience you had, like exceeded the expectations. Like we did our research, we educated ourselves. Like every day we're like learning something. Like at all times of the day we're like just obsessing over it. And is this the right choice? Do we really want to? Is there somebody that does that around here? There was nobody. And then Morgan's mom was the one who actually told us about you, and she's like, yeah, friend of mine's sister does this, and I'll get her contact information. And then we were in communication with you, and there was a little bit of communication prior to finalizing the decision, and I found that to be already above and beyond. In just those meetings, we had spent more time with you than with our provider in a hospital setting, and it was just like instant night and day. Hospital setting is like there was one day there was somebody filling in for the doctor, and I don't mean to like bash hospital. There's many doctors out there that are good at what they do and stuff, but just from my experience, I'm gonna speak for those. But he was filling in, and he was just like, okay, so I'm filling in. We're just gonna see how we kill the next 5 minutes. Or just like, okay.
Takes 5 minutes to say hello.
Yeah, he was just like, okay, no, you feeling good? Yeah. How's nice outside? Hey, any concerns? And like, no. What then? Okay. Should we? Let's listen to your heart. I'm like, okay. Well, I don't got nothing for you.
What?
And he was just like, okay. We left, and I was like, most people wouldn't bat an eye. It's like,
This is prenatal care?
right, but that's the thing. Yeah, most people, it's like they do their part by showing up to the appointment. The doctor is the one that knows everything, so if they're telling me it's fine, no problem, then like no problem. Like they think that that's like a normal experience, you know.
Yeah.
If you haven't been exposed to what's possible, but the fact that we had done our research and knew what was possible, we obviously were like, what in the world is this? Like, so yes, talking to you, all the questions, and further, it just felt a lot more personal, and that was very obvious from the beginning. And yeah, we were not even in debate. We kind of just were like, yes, we want to do this, but let's not like jump the gun. So like, let's sit with it, make sure we still want to do this.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we were still like, yeah, we still want to do that.
I'm proud of you guys, and I'm thankful for you guys. I had a similar situation backing up to like my own experience. I mentioned I had a couple of visits with hospital-based midwives. I had a lot of questions, as anyone should.
Right.
Which reminds me, I was reading through your guys' prenatal notes, and it said, oh, the patient has specific desires and questions, and it's like, that shouldn't, like, everyone should have specific desires and questions. What's the issue with that?
Right.
But yeah, and this was, almost 8 years. Well, this was basically 8 years ago. I was in to see a hospital-based midwife, lovely person, lovely midwife, and I had probably similar questions to what you guys had. Asking my questions, and at one point she's like, "You're just gonna have to." She told me, "You're paying for our services, and you're gonna have to give up control because this is what we do. And don't worry, by the end of your care, you're just going to be like, whatever you think." And I'm like, is that what everyone thinks? Because that's definitely not what I think.
Right.
And we kind of laughed about it. And I told her, I'm like, actually, probably not.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah, you're probably right. We probably have similar personality and yada, yada. And you know what? That was the last visit I had with her. Like, yeah, nope, peace out.
Yeah, like most people would say, okay, you're right. Like, I'm overreacting. I'm pregnant and my hormones, whatever. And they just like allow for them to take over.
Yeah. No, but yeah, know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
with our firstborn, it was a few instances that gave me the red flags. So I was just like one of them was, I personally know I have an aunt, I have one of my best friend's wife, and several other close relatives have had births in this area at the hospital, and they've complained about having pain, and it's in the spot coincidentally where the epidural was administered, and they've had pain for 20 plus years, like on and off, or when it's cold outside, it like aches and like muscle spasms, etc. So for me, with our firstborn, I asked the provider, I was like, what are some of the risks with the epidural? Nothing. None.
That is a
It
lie.
was like percentage, like 0. Like, I don't know. It was like,
That is a lie.
oh, and I was like, immediately, I was like, almost like when someone's lying to your face and they think that you're like, they're talking to you like a child. I was immediately like, what?
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
And I was immediately like, well, that's interesting because I personally know many, at least 5 like in my close circle that have had epidurals and have had lasting pain. And then she just proceeded to gaslight me. She like weaned in and she was like, I just want to make sure that you're gonna support your like partner in her decision. And I was like, of course I support her, like, because I care about her, is because like that's the reason I'm asking this question. Like, it's not because I don't support her. If she decides to do it, that's fine. But like, your job is to inform us. And she was literally like, 0.
Yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah.
that's fine, I guess. But that's, like you said, that's a lie. Like, I personally know people that never had any back problems or nothing, but they had the epidural, and coincidentally, it's in that spot that they have this lasting pain.
Yeah, you need to have thorough informed consent, and we ask for informed consent for absolutely everything. We ask for we get our hands on baby on mama's belly at every visit, which I don't believe that's what they do at every like OB visit, but we're well in tune with that, and we even ask for permission. Like, is it okay if I touch your belly?
Right.
We tell everything that we're doing.
Right.
But and you need informed consent for everything, especially something that's going to affect your body and, your baby's physiology for the rest of your life.
Right.
How can putting a needle in your spine not have
Potential risks.
Right. Yeah, there's so much that I could say.
Definitely.
It's one of the things that got me into midwifery was well, I had always heard, scary things about birth. And I guess what initially got me headed in that direction was not wanting to put myself in that place of like where these scary complications and overly interventive traumatic things happen. And so at the beginning of my journey, I was like really passionate about like, did you know stuff like that like, they do these things without informed consent, and I don't know. And so I was pretty worked up about that for a long time. I became a doula, and I was really like intent with my clients about like helping them gather information, like avoid medical complications and stuff by minimizing medical interventions. In the social media space, there is a lot of people who talk about like um the negative aspects of like overusing medical care. Like routine episiotomies, for example, are not really so much a thing anymore, and in where we are. But stuff like that, talking about anyway, how like the medical system is bad. Okay, and I'm trying to be like politically correct.
Yes, I understand.
But that's what got me excited for a long time. And then I just got to thinking, I am not going to run my life and my career and spend my time talking about how, like, medicine is bad. Medicine is bad. Medicine is bad. Medical system is scary and bad. Like, I'm just going to spend my energy on, like, providing this care and talking about how, like, this model of care is good.
Right.
So,
Instead of bashing them, right? Just focus on you and do your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
there is a paper, I think it's like Davis Floyd, maybe is the last name on the paper. It's a medical paper. It talks about 3 different models of healthcare: technocratic, humanistic, and holistic. Um, I think of myself as practicing humanistic healthcare. I was taught in my midwifery program, as traditional midwives, we kind of walk with each foot in one world, the holistic world and the medical world. And we kind of like bridge
Right.
that gap. But yeah, the holistic model is very like energy fields and stuff like that. And I'm pretty crunchy, but I'm not like woo.
Right.
And then there's technocratic, which is where like the medical interventions, like the latest science and stuff, like in minimizing any kind of risk through these medical means, comes before like maybe what's important to the person, what they're actually wanting, needing, how they're feeling within themselves about it. Yeah. And so I guess that's kind of why I'm cautious, like I said, about like institutions,
Right.
and just much more reasonable about the human-centered way of
Approach.
approaching it.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense.
But it is important to have it because that's why we have better, lower death rate, I guess, than we did 100 or 200 years ago, because we do have those interventions, and from my perspective, when we're providing our care, which is usually like very normal, we are experts in we're experts in normal, and therefore we're able to identify things that are arising, that are flags that like, oh, maybe this is outside of normal. Let's move to a more medical approach for appropriate situations.
And it's not like you're gonna deny medical intervention if it comes to it, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
And I think that's a misconception, that like you're gonna push just no medicine and you have no experience with any medical procedures in case of an emergency, etc. Quick pause, let me ask you something. Do you really know who's watching what you do online? It's not just hackers on public Wi-Fi. Even your internet provider and advertisers can track, log, and sell your data every time you go online. That's why I use IPVanish VPN. It creates a secure, private tunnel for your connection, hiding your real location, encrypting your activity, and keeping everything from passwords to business files safe. It's not only about security in airports or coffee shops. With IPVanish, you can also stop annoying trackers, prevent your internet from being throttled, and even unlock content that's restricted in certain regions. As entrepreneurs, business owners, or just everyday internet users, this is a must-have tool. If you haven't tried a VPN yet, check out IPVanish using the link in the description. Protecting your online life has never been easier. Back to the episode. Some of the misconceptions that I came across was the medical procedures. Like, something goes wrong, well, they're just uninformed, so like they think of a doctor is able to like save a life and you're just at home, like what are you doing? But to give everybody a bit more of an understanding, like what are some of the procedures, special certifications or training that you're equipped with, so situations you are trained to take care of in the case of an emergency, etc., at home?
Okay. Well, like I said, we're experts in normal. We have extensive training in physiological birth and how to support that process. And so we don't create, ideally, we don't create problems that you might experience when you have more intervention. We're kind of non-interventionalist, as is appropriate.
Right.
That being said, we are trained in, say, obstetric emergencies. The most common is postpartum hemorrhage, bleeding. We're trained to prevent that and also to manage it if and when it does present. Shoulder dystocia is another one that gets a lot of that's a very kind of a buzz topic, I guess. It's often diagnosed in the hospital. Well, it's often diagnosed. I'm not going to get off on a tangent about that, but we're well trained in shoulder dystocia. Again, like the physiology of birth, and what to do when we suspect a shoulder dystocia or do indeed encounter shoulder dystocia. The thing about emergencies in labor is that complications often aren't emergent. We can see like increasing risk, like has mom been in labor for a very, very long time and she's getting exhausted, therefore increasing risk of fetal compromise or maternal exhaustion. True emergencies are not super common, but we're also experts in heading those things off. Like, how do we move this labor along in a physiological fashion and best support in the situation? Or, are we starting to look at something where maybe we don't want this baby to be born at home? Let's maybe move to a direction. So maternal exhaustion, I guess that would be like the next most common scenario that we see. And at that point, like, mom is basically, yeah, I want help too.
Yeah.
But other kind of like regulation things. So in Minnesota, we are licensed. So I'm a certified professional midwife. That's like my national accreditation. And then midwifery in the United States and Puerto Rico is regulated on a state-to-state level. And so in Minnesota, we're regulated by the Minnesota Board of Medical Practice. We have to have all of these things in place. We have our current CPR certification. We have American Academy of Pediatrics neonatal resuscitation certification that we keep current. We have to retrain for that every 2 years. It's the same protocol that they use for neonatal resuscitation in hospital. We have our recommended formulary. We have a plethora of anti-hemorrhagic medications, usually before pharmacologic interventions. I have like homeopathy and herbs that we can use to reduce risk of bleeding and stuff. I have all of the like neonatal resuscitation equipment, oxygen. I think I'm forgetting.
If mother needs stitches,
We can do sutures. Yes. Yep, we can do sutures. And that's another thing where we give, thorough consent, thorough informed consent. Recently I had a prenatal visit, talking with a mom about like, oh, what was your, perinatal situation after this birth? And she was like, he didn't say, I just had an epidural, and he said, oh, it's not that bad. I stitched me up. Yes. But see, in the home setting, it's very different. Like, we, talk about what the perineal exam is going to look like, or, like what the process is for that. We get through informed consent for that. Are you ready? Okay, do our exam. And then we talk about, this is what I'm seeing. These are some options. This is what I would recommend. What do you want to do?
do you want to do? Right.
So,
And that's yeah, one of the reasons I would never go back, because the experience was just like, I learned so much from the experience, aside from like obviously meeting the newborn, my baby and stuff. It was I learned about the placenta. I learned about different options for different things, and that was all thanks to the fact that you were very informed consent, which is what I always like. Well, I wouldn't say I always thought it should be, because I never put much thought into it.
technically speaking, it should be. But we should assume the best in humanity. So you're like, they should be recommending the best.
Yes.
Yeah, but unfortunately not always. And just the institution doesn't allow like time for that. Like, right, doctors and nurses are good people and they want to give good care, and the medical system is complicated in the United States, and the time and money is just doesn't really lend itself optimally to good physiological care.
Right.
Um,
You have to get more appointments in then.
yeah.
So you mentioned going to school. So this was in Minneapolis?
Oh, can I back up? I'm trying
Go
to think
ahead.
of all of the things that we offer.
Yeah,
So
please.
anything that people have access to in a mainstream medical setting, I also offer. I talk about like what is recommended, and why, and what we figure out like what do you actually want to do. So in addition, I also offer all of the routine testing that they would offer / require in the hospital setting. We talk about like what are the tests,
Right.
do we need these tests, am I consenting to these tests. I offer antibiotics for treatment of GBS in labor. And again, I offer that, and we have very informed consent about that. And yeah, I won't go on too much about that. And then the medications for newborns and the newborn screenings, everything that's offered in the medical setting, I also offer, and we spend time and prenatally talking about it, and give time parents to understand what is being offered and whether or not we really need it or want it.
Right.
Yeah, so anything that people are offered or just given in the mainstream medical setting, like I also offer that.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, going to school. What was your other question?
So the question was, what is the process? Like, how long did you have to go to school for somebody who might be interested in becoming a midwife? What is like the gist of what the process was like?
Yeah, so in the United States, there's essentially two branches of midwifery. There's nurse midwifery and there's traditional midwifery. So CNM, certified nurse midwife, CPM, certified professional midwife. So I would recommend for anyone interested in those to look at, either path. Um, let's see. So what I chose was the CPM. I went to a direct entry midwifery program. So people often are like, "Oh, you're a midwife. Are you a nurse?" I'm not a nurse. And for the CPM, I would say go to NARM.org, I think, NARM.com. I think it's NARM.org, North American Registered Midwives. And on that website, they talk all about becoming a CPM. There are various schools throughout the United States that are accredited by NARM and lead to the CPM. That's what I would recommend for starting. The journey into midwifery looks different for many people. Yeah, I always say it was harder than I thought it would be. If I knew how hard it was going to be, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I'm very stubborn, and I started it, and there were many, many bumps along the way, and I just thought, you know what, I've invested time and money, mostly my time, precious time when my kids are little, that I've sacrificed doing schoolwork instead of focusing more on them. I'm like, I need to finish this.
Right.
Plus having a little girl, my first is girl. I was like, I'm gonna create a better world for my daughter and the kids. Yeah, I started a school that on paper they said this is a 2-year program. I was like, sweet, you can do this in 2 years. No, my friend, no.
Wow.
It took me, I think, start to finish like 6.
Okay.
Um,
But take into consideration at the time you're already a mom, and I'm assuming you were probably working as well, or was it just?
yeah, I went into it, so after I had my daughter, I went to meet up with coffee for another CPM, with another CPM, and just to like talk to her about it, about becoming a midwife and whatnot. And was told by her, "Oh, you'll have to wait until your kids are older." I was like, "Dumb, so you're gonna do what I want."
Yes.
So yeah, people do go into it as like a doula or assisting as so when I go to a birth as a midwife, ideally I have an assistant with me. And so, sometimes people get into work like that. And so before like getting into an actual program, have kind of been in the birth world a little bit already, have some experience and stuff. When I started, I was starting pretty much from the ground up.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes people are, in that space of like supporting moms for years, maybe raising kids along the way, and like after their kids are, in high school or whatever, have time to like finish their, the schooling and
Right.
and credential and get their license and whatnot. I chose something different. Along the way, I had thoughts of like, for example. So, which example?
Yeah.
So many times. So when my son, I have 2 kids now. They're 7 and 4. When my 4-year-old was newborn, he came with me to Wallenburst for, the first 3 months of his life or so. Yay. And so I would get these calls in the middle of the night, and it's like sleeting, and I have him in my car
Wow.
and, in touch with my preceptor as I'm driving to this birth, and I'm racing the clock. She's like, seems like she's pushing. And I'm just like, is this insanity? Like, is this commendable or is this foolish?
Right.
So I just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The things you do and the obstacles you face during
Yes.
the journey to
Yeah.
the goals we set.
Yes.
It's very interesting because there's something I've just been realizing a lot lately that like I'm not of the mindset that like they have it much better than I do, and well, it's easy for you to say that because you're a licensed midwife and you had it all handed to you. Like, I'm not of that mindset. It's almost like anybody you talk to, whether it looks like they have something, like everybody's has their story. Everybody has had their challenges. Everybody will continue to face a challenge at some point. It's very very rare, if even possible, that like somebody doesn't go through something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I still pinch myself sometimes because I'm like, wow, I get to provide the service for people. I get to be part of these sacred experiences. And it's really nice now. To be honest with you, for most of my money, for most of my life, I made like almost no money, and I'm 37 now, and I worked really, really hard to be making a little bit of money right now. So yeah,
Worth it.
worth it.
Yes. And even just like from my experience, like I can tell when somebody is loves what they do and when somebody is like they're just punching in, punching out, like they're just showing up. It's another Monday. So I never once had that experience dealing throughout our journey, our process. There was never a home visit where it felt like a rush, or never felt like you weren't fully present. And that was something we definitely appreciated a lot because, like I told you, like, how am I gonna kill 5 minutes? It felt like I was in school and there was like a substitute, but like the substitute doesn't care.
Yes, that's a good analogy. Oh boy.
And I was like, but you're supposed to be a doctor. Like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm all about setting up families just to be healthy, to be confident. Because the way we're treated in pregnancy and birth, we remember that.
Right.
Um, the way we're born even, as a baby, if you don't have, we don't have memories of being born, but I think that it lives in your body somehow. Even things about like the neonatal microbiome and how we're very mindful about protecting the neonatal microbiome. Subtle things like that, that influence people's health their whole life long.
Right.
Where was I going with all of that? I know where I was going with all of that. It's such an important investment of your time and your learning through your prenatal care about just like how do we take care of our own bodies, like the importance of nutrition, the importance of feeling confident in medical settings, advocating for yourself as you need, and then when you have children, navigating medical systems with them and advocating for your kids. I offer informational resources like that parents should be reading, for those purposes. Like, what comes after my baby is born? Like, I take him to a pediatrician. What do I do? Like, what should I expect? What should I know? And so, and we talk a lot about nutrition and pregnancy. And so, and actually a lot of things that we recommend for nutrition and pregnancy, probably like most people, men, women of every age, and whether you're pregnant or not, would benefit from nutritional advice. But then it overflows into like, how do I take care of my kids? What do I feed them? And like, how, do we need to like prioritize nutrition? And yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I struggle to understand how you can brush that under the rug and not. Yeah, there's yeah. Like I said, in our care, we take like 5 minutes to say hello, how's it going? And then at the end of the visit, I'm like, okay, next time we're gonna talk about this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was definitely not
Yeah.
ever like, even with my firstborn, it was never that.
Yeah.
And I do remember when I was young, so my family's from Mexico, and my grandpa, his best friend was a doctor. And when I would go to Mexico, I would always end up getting like a little sick. I think the food is not the same, so I was a little bit more sensitive as a child, and he would take me with him, and the care that he provided was very much like, how are you? And like, joking with me, showing me something that he's got over here and there, and like he would do a full exam. And I don't know if that was his typical protocol or because he was friends with my grandpa, but but he was very like, and I called him my uncle, so I would always refer to him as my tío, and yeah, like I still remember that because it was so, like, he made me feel like I was important.
Yeah.
And in comparison, where you feel like you're just on the like factory line.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah.
And it was a guy I could tell, obviously, and
He was a humanistic
yes, he was
healthcare
very,
provider.
yes, and I can't express it enough that was uh the expectation was very much exceeded uh in our experience with you, and uh going through such a traumatic, well, it's like physically traumatic, but such a beautiful moment. I mean, birth is it's a big thing, and uh beautiful thing that, like, how is the female body designed to first harbor and carry a being, and then just naturally know when it's time, and just go through the entire process, like,
Yeah.
and that is just once you go through it, I definitely felt like, wow, like we did something. Like it was like a bond that was formed. And like you said, when you're pregnant, how you're treated is definitely like, it leaves a lasting impression on your memory. Somebody treated you wrong, you're like never gonna forget. And with from my perspective, that's what the experience felt like with you. It was like you were there, like we gave birth, and it's um like, hey, I know you. Like it's like this bond that was formed. Was I don't even remember the name of the doctor for our firstborn. Like I don't remember. Like I don't know what his name. I didn't even. He never introduced himself. Like we don't know the name of who that was or anybody in there. For that matter. Like we had a provider that like saw us for our appointments, but then the actual labor from the point that you get to the hospital and you get admitted and everything, like nobody, like everybody's like a new face.
Yeah.
So thankfully everything, our son is healthy and everything is good. I don't know what I would do or feel like had it not. I feel the way I feel internally with the simple idea of like it could have gone really bad. Just when you learn about how come they didn't tell me that this is what they were giving him? Why didn't they? How come nobody asked me that? How come nobody? And just knowing the potential risks that those medications could have caused a few hour minute old baby, uh yeah, it irks me a little bit. But like I said, thankfully everything is good. They're both very healthy, but I just never had to feel that discomfort. We're not naturally confrontational people. We appreciate somebody who's gonna treat us good, and we're always gonna do the same. And the fact that you naturally on your own are informing us and asking, is this okay? Is it okay if I touch your belly? Like, that is very much like appreciated. And it's like, oh wow, like, and it does do something mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's like, oh wow, like it makes you feel important. And yeah, I can't praise it enough. It's like I want to be like, yes, like
Thank you. Tell everyone that's what we're doing, right?
100-star review it.
Thanks.
Yes. So home birth, although I like praise it, what are some instances where a mother might not be the right candidate for a home birth?
Yeah. Well, I'm all about information. Um, so when people reach out to me, I refer them to um MCCPM is a good one, Minnesota Council of Certified Professional Midwives. On that website, it talks all about .org, I believe. On their website, they have all good information and present us as, this professional, regulated organization. This is like our scope of practice. This is what we offer. This is what we do. If you have a problem and feel you need to submit a complaint, this is the process to do it. Instances why a prospective client wouldn't be a candidate or someone would need a transfer out of care. So we do follow specific criteria for low risk pregnancy and birth. And so officially, if you look to that resource, there's a list of like indications that we would either consult with a higher level medical professional, whether it be like a hospital-based midwife or an obstetrician. You know,
I'm sure the list is long. I do remember kind of like go through it. There's so many different instances or like
yeah, some
they do have to be low risk.
yeah, there's some health morbidities. If you have like chronic hypertension, that's an indication that out of hospital midwifery is not for you. Stuff like that. Yeah, we do have things that we specifically monitor for.
There were a few fun questions that I thought of, which if the answer is nuanced, it's okay. But favorite music to have playing during birth?
That's tough. It really depends on the person, and I've heard all kinds of music
Okay.
during the birth. I have a Spotify station that I created for myself.
Okay, for yourself.
Yes, it's called Homebird Playlist, I think.
Okay, wow.
So you can look it up and laugh about how cheesy it is. But it takes me back to like cozy times. My son was born let's see, his birthday is always on or around Thanksgiving. He was born, I think, 2 days before or the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh, wow.
And so it takes me to that cozy season and the holiday season where we were having our cozy postpartum. Yeah, it's music is very personal, but I think it's important.
Oh, yeah.
I spent a lot of time like preparing a playlist and then didn't actually end up playing it while I was in labor, but that still worked.
But the fact that you went through the motion of creating it, it was the personal connection to it. No, I understand. Yeah, there was a few things that we did the same way where we were like preparing and like, well, let's create this and this playlist. And yeah, in the moment it was like, I don't need yeah. Oh man. Goodness. Let's see here. Okay, so most common request or occurrence you see during labor?
Maybe like things to help the physical sensations, you mean?
It could be anything like, yeah, like maybe like pushing on the hips, or it could be
Yeah.
a cup of water, or it could be anything.
Yeah, the pushing on the hip. Yeah, actually both of those things. I don't know if people don't know to ask for it, but often if I had a pelvic model here, I would show you. We call it hip squeeze. There's a way to squeeze the hips that helps with the physical sensations.
Right.
Sometimes pressure on the lower back can help, just depending on like how baby's positioned and how mom's positioned. Sometimes that is really helpful for people. Talking about like just staying nourished and hydrated, really, really important for us. Not to like harp on the medical system, but they're like really careful about what they'll allow you to eat and stuff. And we're very mindful to be like, eat something, keep your energy up. This is the fuel that makes this happen. And a lot of oral fluids. We don't do routine IVs. We can give an IV.
Right.
We don't do them routinely, but encourage people to put like we've got all kinds of tricks for like electrolyte drinks or honey sticks, something to keep the energy up and keep the fluids going, and that minimize that right there minimizes your risk of exhaustion
Right.
and complications. So yeah, keep the water going. Just the breath. Probably important every time. A reminder to the mom that I like to remind people you're breathing for your baby, especially once people get like in that transition and whatnot. Just that breath. I remind parents, like empty your lungs, like nice deep exhale, and then fill your lungs up again with nice new air, and envision your lungs full of nice new air. You're breathing for your baby, because truly you are.
Right.
Like that oxygen that you take in goes to your baby.
Goes straight. All right.
And that they're in physiologic birth keeps like the heart tones okay and stuff. Yeah. So we do monitor heart tones in labor for per like ACOG recommendations for intermittent auscultation.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that to keep it normal. Common requests. The other parent, it's important that people have their person there that they feel safe with. Is a primal instinct. Like, I need this person to have there together.
It was so crazy. I was with my wife and we're already like, okay, wow, it's gonna happen. And it was just such a sense of like relief when you showed up. Like, you were both of our first.
Oh, thank you. That's nice of you to say.
Yes, I'm sure I helped her feel some sort of comfort, I guess, but
You did. I did.
you,
And you did 3. And we talked about rapid birth instructions, right? In our prenatal care. And if I wasn't there, you would have been fine.
Yes. I told her, like, she was like, my body's pushing on its own. And I was like, well, whenever you're ready, like, I'm ready. And I mean, I've never done this, but I was very much in the mindset of, like, I have to deliver. Like, if I have to deliver, I have to deliver. And I'm not gonna, like, no, just wait. Or, like, no, back down. It was very much like, I will trust myself in this situation. But then he showed up. Not like,
I love that moment. I think I'll also remember that. I came straight in, and she absolutely had a business face.
yes.
Yeah. It was powerful. It was very cool.
Very memorable. Okay, let's see. Let's see. If you weren't a midwife, what career would you be in?
That's a very interesting question. I think that at a certain point in my life, I just grabbed onto something and decided to do it. And at the time, it seemed like the most important thing to do. And I think probably I was right about it. I've always tried to find work that's meaningful for people, and I've done a lot of things. I've had different careers, I guess. And well, I was a makeup artist for 10 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And now I wear no makeup. And I have a lot of very specific, very thoughtful, like, reasons why. But in that season, like, that was really important for me, and I had my philosophical reasons for why that was important work. And I've done, let's see, from that I got into simultaneously, like towards the end of my career as a makeup artist, I got into gardening.
Okay.
And off of that got into landscaping. And that was a very physically demanding job. I think I actually have chronic neck pain because I did too much weeding.
Wow.
So for a while there, I was doing this garden landscape business and this makeup artistry kind of simultaneously. And I did a lot of weddings. And then being in that arena, I was like, oh, what's this over here? Oh, floral design. And so then I got into that. I actually have an Associates of Fine Arts. That was my first degree.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I got into floral design because I thought this is something that I can do that's more sustainable. It's less physically demanding. And so then I had a flower shop for a while. It was like a floral shop, gift shop, local art gallery. I did that for 2 years. And looking back on like a business plan perspective, there's definitely a lot of things I would have done differently because I got burnt out in that setting. But that's when I got pregnant, and I was very, very stressed out with my floral business at that time. I was like, something's got to change, and everything changed. I worked retail for a little while. I got into wine, and I worked at a wine shop. I got really, really fortunate. I was hired by a local wine shop owner there in the town where my old flower shop was. And I was like, you should know I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
And like sampling wine is part of it.
Yeah. So wow.
It's like, oh well, I wouldn't hire you for that, or I wouldn't not hire you for that reason.
Right.
Um.
So he's still okay. Well,
Yeah, he was supportive, and that was a good job for me. But yeah, I was in wine retail for a little while there, and I had a lot of downtime at the shop, which is when I did a lot of reading about midwifery and listening to birth podcasts and stuff. And so that sort of organically led to something else. But yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts about like what are the other things that I would do in life. And this is where I am now, and I don't know. I'm a mom now. We're a homeschool family.
Nice.
And so now I'm thinking about my kids and setting them up for success and for having options, as they're finishing school. And I've got already their plans for getting an associate's degree. And like, let's see if we can get you a bachelor's degree in your early 20s. So you have options,
Right.
like whatever you want to do. If you want to stay home with kids and have a family, like that's great. But I want you to have options.
Right.
And so that's in yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I thought of teaching, and so now I am a teacher.
Oh.
To my kids.
To your own, yes.
Yep.
Wow, that's a whole nother
Oh, my friend, life is
conversation. But
rich.
yes,
Yeah.
I think I would if like take away like money, like none of that, I would probably be a full-time dad.
Yeah.
That's what I would probably just choose to do, because and I'm very grateful that I do get to, but if I could do it without having work that I have to get done, which I do keep it like minimal and like only things that I actually feel like doing, aside from a few mundane tasks, I guess, that need to be done. But being a dad just never feels that way. And if I could just focus on doing that, it's always fun.
Yeah.
It can be a little tiring when you're tired, but it never feels like I don't want to do it.
Yeah. That's good. Not all dads feel that way.
I don't even understand how not, but I'm definitely aware that not all parents are the same.
Yep. People inherently want to do, be good people and take care of their family.
Right.
And sometimes it's hard. And I see all different families, and some single moms too, and just families are different. And I try to come in sort of objectively, and just support people where they're at. Sometimes people need more resources, and that's where we come into with like that humanistic kind of care. Like, what is your social situation looking like? Like, what's your partner? Is there a partner in the picture? And if not, like how, what other kind of gaps in your social structure, like, can we help you with? What kind of resources do you need? Mental health resources for, the mom, maybe the partner, because if the partner's healthy, then the family can be more healthy, more stable and whatnot. Yeah.
And I think that that's like also one of the main differences, that like instead of just being like filling in a form that they have to submit to the office or whatever, it's like you're asking genuinely
Yeah.
for a purpose, but like it's like but you still care. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you don't have a partner in the picture, like you take that into consideration for your approach.
Yep. Yeah. What's your postpartum hair, support going to look like and stuff like that?
Right. I feel like we covered pretty much everything that I had written. For anybody who wants to learn more or work with you, like reaching out on your website or social media.
Yes. My website, lifestylesmidwifery.com.
Perfect.
I have a contact on there. I have Instagram and Facebook that exist.
Okay.
I haven't done much on there.
Okay.
A little business tip I've kind of like developed and held on to is like build your website first. Social media is a time suck, and for me as a highly sensitive person, and a mental and emotional suck too. And I think always your social media should point to your website, and I'm always like mindful about how I spend my time. And rather than like a lot of social media, I've done more like improving my website. So find me on my website and message me through there, and I would be happy to talk to you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely be leaving everything in the description below. But I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, your knowledge, giving us such a inside look at what working with a midwife looks like. For anybody watching or listening, if you're considering birth options or just want to learn more, I highly recommend connecting with Ashtyn. We'll have all her links in the description. And as always, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future interviews with incredible individuals making an impact in their communities.